Let's start talking about more of the upsets before we end the show. And again, thanks for coming on. We look at the first, really the first big upset. Richmond took down Iowa. And I'm from Iowa, so a lot of times Iowa, usually when they make it to the tournament, they only get to the first or second round. But what did you think of that game overall?
So I fell into the trap of Iowa, like so many. The way they played in the Big Ten tournament, with the firepower, the experience, I had Iowa in the Final Four. I was a believer this year in the Hawkeyes. For them to come out and fall apart both offensively and defensively the way they did. Jordan Bohannon, 6 points. As a team, shoots 6 of 29 from 3. Richmond, experienced team, a dangerous team, especially the way they had just gone through the A-10 tournament. But still, it was very, very surprising. The way they just fell apart. There really is no other way to say it. Iowa played one of its worst games of the season at the absolute wrong time.
Yeah, and it seems like Iowa, they usually shock a lot of people at times, but this year, of course, made that big run, won the Big Ten. I had them at least going to the Sweet 16, and not a lot of people are talking about this, but what do you think about the future of Fran McCaffrey? Do you think he's going to stay at Iowa for a few more years? And Iowa has a tendency of keeping their coaches for a very long time. But what do you think about the future of Fran McCaffrey at Iowa?
I think as long as he's happy there, I don't see him moving on. If you're Iowa, it's one of those situations. I think you have to be careful about thinking of what you are as a program in the Big Ten. You're never going to be maybe a Wisconsin or a Michigan State, a Michigan and Ohio State. To me, you're that tier right below those schools. To get rid of a coach that has now had a player of the year last year in Luka Garza, a candidate this year in Keegan Murray. You routinely have one of the nation's best offenses. You're winning 20 games regularly. You're finishing above 500 on a routine basis in the Big Ten. I wouldn't be pushing Fran McCaffrey out. Now, as you pointed out, are the early NCAA exits too routine? Probably. Fran has been yet to reach a Sweet 16 at Iowa. And this is as a 5 seed, a 2 seed, a 10 seed, a 7 seed, a 7 seed, and it was 11 seed. So more recently, but not getting any tournament wins these last 2 years beyond the first round last year. It's alarming. But again, if Fran's happy, I think as a program, Iowa needs to be happy, because if you let go of him, you don't know what's coming, and I don't think it's going to be better.
Yeah, and you just mentioned, you don't want to rush, McCaffrey. And I think they did the same thing with Tom Davis years ago, and they brought in, I can't think of his name right now, but he was at UCLA for a while. He struggled. Steve Alford, I think it was. They brought him in, and he just did not last very long there. So you do bring up a good point there. So